Hey guys, TheGamingSandwich here. So I'm going to go over some combos a little bit with you for Icejade. So here's your first one. So I'm going to go over a couple. So here's one of your kind of like your main plays. So normally I'm going to do this as if you've only got two cards in hand. So we're going to have a Icejade Adrian and a Swap Frog. So you will normal summon this. You will activate the effect. Your opponent will chain Effect Veiler or Imperm, targeting this. Your Icejade Adrian will then chain its effect to special summon a card from the hand of the graveyard. You shall special summon a Swap Frog. Swap Frog will then proceed to activate its effect. Sending this to the graveyard, you will then link 2 into Sprite Alpha. Sprite Alpha will then got this. This effect will then activate. Sending your Dupe Frog. If you're a bit more concerned because you've obviously done a couple of summons, you can always go into your 4th summon of this. Then you can activate the effect. So with this point in time, you technically have a few combos you could do, but I will just suggest going for your Swap Frog again. So go for your Swap Frog. Swap Frog will then proceed to activate its effect, slamming out your last copy of Ronin Toadin. So technically you have another Dupe Frog in the deck. So then you will proceed to banish the Swap Frog for this. You will then link these two away for Coral and Enemy. You'll activate Coral's effect. Special link Swap Frog because you're now locked into link 2s. Sending this to the graveyard. You will then, as you can see, we've got a very, very loaded graveyard. Then proceed to banish the dupe. Special this. Then you will activate this, leaving this bit clear. You'll have your Ronin. And then if you want, you can banish this one for this. You could always obviously get another Swap Frog if you wanted, but I feel like that's the best combo to do this one with. So it's not always the best, but hey, it does get the job done. You could always go for the, we always have the last Swap Frog in deck if you wanted to dump and use the dupe instead. But I like to have this just in case you can kind of chain block stuff with it. So that's always nice. So that is your first lovely combo, and we shall go do some other ones. So the next one I'm going to go for you is, at the moment, because obviously King Tiger Wango is becoming a bit more prevalent. So there's a way to get around this. So firstly, you'll activate your Fury of the Chain. Goes to your graveyard and you'll allow yourself a copy of Trinity Tribute. Don't worry if this gets ashed, you don't need it to, it's just the way we'll do it as if it resolves. So if you want to do this, you can, I'd personally say normal do this. So you normal summon an Icejade. Effect will trigger, effect will trigger. You can banish this, and then your Icejade will stay on field. As Wango only checks once, and that's just on the summon. So if you banish the Kairishin stuff from being destroyed by card effect, you will literally keep the monster. So it's fine. So then you can either beat over it a different way. But it's just one of those nice little kind of things to kind of notice. So it's kind of cool. I like to think it's quite funny. It doesn't do overly a lot, but it kind of can help you out. So hey, always nice to know. Just one of those little ruling things. Thought I would tell you. Okay, guys. Another ruling with Adrian now. So if you have your field spell on the field. So the field spell checks on summon. So as soon as you normal summon a card, you have ignition effect and ignition effect. So you pretty much, normal summon the Adrian or special summon, it doesn't matter. You activate Adrian's effect. This card checks on the summon, so you summon, so you target this. So because you're activating this as mandatory chain link 1, this will go chain link 2. Your opponent can then not respond with Ash to this because you're creating a nice chain block. You kind of can only do this once, so kind of make sure you know what you're doing. But yeah, so you can make it so your Adrian is live most of the time. So obviously you can use different effects with Imperm, but this can help you dodge Ash. So it is a nice little ruling to know. This is not always it can't get you out of every situation, but it's just a nice little thing of going, okay, I can do this. This is good. Woohoo! Great. I'm going on with my plays. Obviously, if you're going to do that, you will search, probably get your search a spell, and then get your level 10 out, and that causes the one-sided lock for a bit. So hey, always funny. Right, let's go on with another little bit of fun. So guys, any combination of these 3 cards are really, really decent. So because of how the field spell works, you can pretty much get some extra effects off. So I'm going to go with this. So you can discard this to activate to special summon either the swap or the Adrene, special summon the Adrene. Activate the Adrene's effect, doesn't matter, it will just say it got ashed at this point. So you can go play field spell, activate field spell, grab this from your graveyard to your hand, then discard this to special summon swap. Then they can go, oh, negate that, then you can bounce swap to normal swap to activate swap again. So pretty much you have literally gone through it, then you just proceed to your swap for a combo. So discard this, send this to the grave, link 2, get to elf, elf will special this, and then do that. And if you just want to kind of do a little quick version, you just go with that, get this, put that there, link these two for this, detach this to special the swap frog, or you know, do whatever you need to. I'd probably just go dupe, and then you can kind of do what you need to, or you can just do the quick version of doing like this. That's the quicker version. Obviously you can do your different plays. If you have a sprite red in hand, say you have a sprite red in hand at this point, so you kind of would have these two on board here. So you're locked into level 2s at this point. You will link into this. Coral only locks you into water when you special. So if you have, say, red in hand, special red at this point, so you don't lose your ability to summon. Then you summon, swap, activate swap effect, and then you can just banish this, special this, get your Toad. That's another way to do it. You have then your 2 negates. With this one, I would personally tribute this. Toad will tribute itself, or an Icejade you have in hand. It's just so good. If your opponent summons a monster, you can target this to make them lose 2,000 attack. It's just so good. So, yes. Right, I'm going to go on to you about some really horrible stuff now. So, all these cards have, when they're destroyed by card effect, so, and unfortunately as well, you can chain block these with, so, say if you have like any combination of these out, so, let's point that there, and point, oh no, let's do that there, okay. Put a Toad in the middle, and say there's an empty zone. And say, for some reason, we lost our entire field. So you can go, so for me, you can go, right, so we have multiple effects here. So you can go, right, so we'll go Chainlink 1 area, Chainlink 2, Kragan, Chainlink 3, Toad, Chainlink 4, Tanola, which I think 5 Miss Starboy. So Starboy will add itself. Toad will add itself back to the deck. So, well, there, you have to resolve it in order, sorry. Adrene was special. So then you'll have this one, which will then search. Sorry, then it'll be, yeah, this one which will search. So this will get fun. So you add like a water monster. Let's just say you add, you'll add a Toad. So add a frog, then you could just like, afterwards I say add this to your hand again to do that. Then Kragan will activate, getting the Kragan spawn and attaching this to it. And then under a new chain, Adrene will activate. And the other good one is if they decide to Veiler at this point, you can special the Toad, and the Toad is then live again because it's a new copy of Toad, because Toad is a hard once per turn per copy, hence why if you have 2 Toads out, they can activate. So you can do other effects with this. So Adrene, in its own weird way, acts like a very similar version to Sprite Elf. So very good. Also, when you summon Adrene, you can actually chain block again with the Cradle. Just always remember that, you can always chain block with Cradle as well. So yeah, you can chain block on the new chain. So dumb. Gotta love this deck, it's so amazing. Okay, guys, we're gonna go over this scenario. So it's like our graveyard. We've got a swap, a Ronin, Cradle, Fury, Ariga, the Trinola, and this one. So that's what we've got. We've had a few negates. We've kind of got our board. We've got 3 banish cards, which is 2 dupe, swap. Got the Torrential, got our Gigantic, got our Toad, and we've got this. So opponent knows we've got the Trenchant, and they know we've got Toad. So during the standby phase, we would have gone to activate the effect, but we've literally just emptied our deck full of everything. So yeah, we've got nothing in deck, so there's no point activating this effect. Our opponent then goes Dark Ruler. Now we're under Dark Ruler no more, so all these are turned off, which is like really, really bad. You have to remember that, and then Gigantic goes back down to 16. We know this is there. They activate Cosmic Cyclone. We target this, and it's like, crud. We're in a bad spot. So it's like, we're not going to do good. So then they're going to like get rid of our board. So say they attack over it, which is not great, but so we're going to have a couple of chain links happen. So Toad will activate Engrave, and then we're going to have Tremora activate Engrave. So we're going to go Tremora chain link 1, and then we're going to have Toad chain link 2, because we want our Icejade to resolve. Toad is not as good, but we want the Icejade. So they're going to do that, and you're like, okay, that's fine. So we'll special this and attack. Then, so say they ash this, or Ghost Pellet. So we lose the Toad. So we're like, ooh, okay, we're losing the Toad. We're not great, so we're losing this. Effect activates. So we're going to do that. We're going to grab, we'll grab the Field Spell. Field Spell's good at this point. So we'll grab the Field Spell. We've got that for the next turn. So if they target this for an attack, we've got a Toad Engrave, which they don't really want to aggro. So we've got that. So it's like, okay, yeah, you got the Toad. We've also got the Fury, so we're protected from being destroyed by card effects. We can't take battle damage anyway, so it's not really too much of an issue. So even if they attack us, it's not going to do anything, because we can just survive being destroyed by once. So we're all good. So let's just say we draw a card, go for 7, draw for a card. It could be anything, it doesn't matter. We're just going to activate this. We're going to grab this to the hand. And it's like, okay. So we'll Banish, swap to special this. And then we'll banish this to special this. So that's 1, 2. We've got that. We'll go make our second Toad. Always good to run 2. So we've got this as a negate in hand, so we don't lose the Adverine. We'll go to battle. Declare an attack. So the Toad will actually act. Sorry, on summon. You will target the Toad. The Toad will make your opponent lose 22. You'll attack the Icejade. And then you can equip this from grave, and then you've got, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got, this becomes a 3k beat stick, and also you can negate with this. Such a good little like thing that you've survived the Dark Ruler, you come back and you've got 1 negate, and then you've still got a big beat stick in hand, and you've still got this which causes disruption to your opponent constantly. And even if they do want to attack your graveyard, you can either get the Toad, or you can get, what is it, Coral Anemone. I keep forgetting that one. You can get Anemone. There you go. So yeah, that is one of the other fun combos. So if there's anything you guys want me to talk about in terms of like the rulings, or for different cards, or weirder interactions, I'll also go over with one particular one. It's not that interesting. So there we go. So for anyone who actually like saw the video that MCall40 posted, that obviously they know this, might not know this was actually my build that was actually on his channel. So because someone sent me a personal message saying, they go, you can't summon Egyptian Godslam legitimately in your deck. I was like, I can, but it requires a tiny bit of setup. So this one states, if there's a field spell active, you can special summon it. So you special summon this card, you target the field spell, target this, turns its attack to 0, your opponent's monsters lose everything. Then you meet the requirements for the Egyptian Godslam, because the aqua monster you sacrifice for the or use for the fusion has to be 0, so you need the combination of these two, or unless you've got something that your opponent's doing that reduces your attack. But yes, that is how you get the Egyptian Godslam out. It requires a little bit of setup, but not too much. So yeah, that's why that exists. So there we go. Thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and ask me any other rulings or things like that. I will try and respond to them as honestly as I can. I do judging occasionally, not too often, because I don't like to go tied down in more meta rulings, but I do kind of like know what most of mine do, so if not, I always like double check with like a usual regional level judge to see what rulings everything goes under. So yeah. And anyway, thank you very much, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to go over a few fun ones with this. So with erosion has two effects. So when a monster would, when a card, you can target one card that your opponent controls, then destroy one Icejade, and then at the end of negate that card. So targets the cost, so you could target their card. You can actually banish Fury of the Kaioshin if you do not want your Icejade to be destroyed. So you can actually banish this, and it still will resolve, which is really, really good. The other good thing is that if you have other Icejades in your graveyard, you can trigger their effects to then special them from the graveyard or your hand, which is, again, really, really useful. Another thing that not many people know is that I have had it a few times. So you've got things like Mirror Jade. So Mirror Jade, anything that kind of like forces your stuff away from the field. So say, or even a Kaiju. So say they Kaiju this. So it goes to the grave, they Kaiju it. This will then trigger on a new chain, and you can special an Icejade from your deck. So obviously you're going to special this, and this will then rotor. So you'll send it to defense, and then this will rotor. And if they don't, you can then special this, and then you've got two blockers. It's so good. Just these extra bits of Icejade, just kind of the reassurance that you have ways to extend your plays. So useful. So yeah, really, really good. Just to show you guys, obviously you've got these here. You have this one. This basically is I know it's 3 cards, and I know it seems a lot, but the lock is basically, this stops your opponent from activating monster effects the turn they're summoned, this stops it the turn after. This one also has the added effect of when an Icejade will be destroyed by battle, you do burn damage equal to that Icejade's original attack. And then Curse will also, if a monster is destroyed by an Icejade by battle, that monster deals the attack. They both do have to remain in the graveyard for that to function, so remember with Chainlinks, order them in a good way so you can kind of keep the monster there for that point on res. So there is funny ways you can gain attack. So if you say normal summon this, and then you can activate your Cradle, and then you will add your lovely new card that came out in the recent set, which is this one. So you normal summon that, you normal summon this, actually effect, target this. So all monsters your opponent controls lose 1500. So you go attack deck, so this will be 1000, there will lose 1500. So you equip this. This will then check and add all of the attackable banished monsters. So say if you've got Toad Zoo or a couple of Icejades, it's going to be at least 1 up to 2. So this will go from, say, about 14 to maybe, so anywhere usually, I'd say it's usually 1400, between 14 and usually 22. So you'll attack with this, so 22. Then I'll lose 1000 attack during damage calc because of this bad boy. So they're then most likely taking at least 22 to the face, and if that was so at least so if there was a 25 monster, so you're taking 22, then because we burn them for say 25, that's like dumb. So you pretty much then done at least nearly over half you've done over half your damage in one attack. It's very, very stupid, and that can allow your opponent to really, really suffer when they don't realise how much damage Curse can really, really do. Yes, it functions kind of fundamentally, it used to be like how Flaming Wing Man does things in that kind of way, but it is a separate effect that resolves after the monster's been destroyed by battle. Bear in mind again that Curse has to remain on the field for this to actually function, so if it is destroyed, yes, you will lose that effect. But it is so devastating, it is really, really worth it, so I would suggest trying your best to keep it around. Okay, so we'll go with another